Hello YouTube! I thought I'd do my labor and delivery story. Tomorrow will be 2 weeks since baby girl was born. I did take a few notes while I was in labor on my phone and had a few things written down for me. So that's kind of all I'm going off of besides memory. And it was only 2 weeks ago, almost 2 weeks ago. So anyway, I apologize. My videos are all coming from my bedroom and me just holding my phone because I kind of have everything set up in here and it's just the easiest, fastest way for me to make videos. So I apologize that it's not, that I don't have kind of a better setup where I'm not like holding my phone. But anyway, I don't know if this will be more than one part or not. If it is, then this is the first part. So the first thing I wanted to say about my delivery is that it was induced. And I know that that is something that a lot of people have strong opinions on. I myself in the past have, really looked into natural childbirth, unmedicated, childbirth, and I'm very aware of inductions, the complications that can come from inductions. And so, I understand why people have strong opinions about them, especially when they are elective. I was induced because I had signs of preeclampsia, and based on my first labor and delivery, I took that very seriously, and I chose to be induced for those reasons. So, I just kind of wanted to put that out there again because I know a lot of people are really against it, and I understand why. I do completely understand why. So anyway, with that said, the last labor video I made, I was 39 weeks and 1 day. Yeah, 39 weeks, 1 day. And in that, I talked about starting to have signs of early labor. And I still believe it was early labor. The nurses at the hospital felt like it was too. So I did actually go into the process of being induced in natural early labor. And so then the only reason that the induction process happened was because of my blood pressure and a few other things. So I'll start from the beginning. On February the 4th, I believe, I started losing my mucus plug. In the video that I made, I mentioned how much I do not care for that term. I started losing that, and it was pretty obvious over like 2 days. I started having pretty intense Braxton Hicks contractions that were kind of tricking me into thinking that they were real contractions. And what else happened? Yeah, I didn't feel quite right. Like I could feel that things weren't the same as they had been. Like I could feel the signs of preeclampsia and the swelling and all of that kind of stuff. So that was February the 4th. So fast forward to February the 6th, which was a Wednesday. I went into the hospital at 9 p.m. at night because if I hadn't gone into full-blown labor, my doctor wanted me to start the induction process that night. So my husband and I hit up Panera, which is like my favorite restaurant ever, of course, full of carbs. And we had a great meal there and left our 7-year-old with my parents, my dad and my stepmom. And we headed over to the hospital, and it was really sweet. It was kind of surreal, especially when when you're walking into a hospital knowing that you're not going to get sent home and that you're not going to leave without a baby as long as your baby's safe. You're not going to leave pregnant, I should say. It's a really surreal feeling. So I was kind of in la la land a little bit. So I get checked into the hospital at 9 p.m. By 10 p.m. they started Cytotec, which is a cervical softener. And again, that is controversial. There are a lot of people who are very against Cytotec that feel, that there are better ways to soften the cervix, Cervidil, and a few others. But I did a little bit of research on it, and I felt comfortable with it. So I went ahead and did the first dose of Cytotec, like I said, at 10 p.m. And about, I want to say it was probably 12 p.m., they came in and checked me. I should mention they checked me before I started that dose. And I was 2.5 centimeters dilated and 50% effaced before the first dose of Cytotec. 2 hours later, around midnight, I got checked again and did not have much change. The only thing that had changed in those 2 hours was they said my cervix felt a little softer, and that I was really sleepy, and there wasn't a lot of detail involved in that check when they checked me. The next time I got checked was at 2 a.m. I have some notes over here that I'm looking at 2 a.m. and I was still, they said basically almost 3 centimeters generously, and still just 50-60% effaced, but they did feel like the Cytotec was working. Again, I think some things they just tell you to, not discourage you and just kind of keep you content. So I didn't really believe everything they were saying. I kind of felt like they were just trying to keep me encouraged, I guess. The next time I got checked, at 2 a.m. when I got checked, I got my second dose of Cytotec. I believe there's a limit of 4 doses that you can have. So I had my second dose of Cytotec at 2 a.m. And the next time I got checked so now we're February the 7th, the next time I got checked from what I wrote down was at 7:30 a.m. So I don't think I actually went that long without being checked, but there's a possibility. At 7:30, I was in quite a bit of pain. I was feeling regular contractions, and they confirmed that from the monitors that I was having regular contractions. When I got checked, I was 4 centimeters dilated and 70% effaced. So the pain I was feeling was obviously, from some progress. So that was encouraging. They then asked me if they didn't say, are you okay with starting Pitocin? But they said your doctor would like you to start Pitocin. And I agreed. And just the same as Cytotec and inductions in general, I know the pros and cons to Pitocin. But I just felt like I really wanted the process to get going, and I was a little worried that if I didn't take the Pitocin, my labor would just be really, really long. My first labor and delivery was over 30 hours long with my son. So I chose to do the Pitocin. That was at 7:30, like I said. Sorry, I'm trying to see when the next thing was. At 9 a.m., I got checked, and I was in so much pain. That was when I was really starting to kind of lose it and really having strong regrets of choosing to take Pitocin. I just kept thinking to myself, why did I do that? Like, I knew that Pitocin was going to make this so intense, and I should have waited, or I should have refused it, and I was just really emotional, and it hurt. And so I knew when they checked me, I would be like 6 centimeters, 8 centimeters. No, I was only, they said you're almost 5. You're almost 5 centimeters. So it was only 1 centimeter in that whole period of intense contractions, which it was only like an hour and a half from when the last time they had checked me. So it wasn't that unusual that I had only dilated 1 more centimeter, but I thought I was making this like incredible progress, and I wasn't. So that was definitely a low point for me, and I decided to get an epidural. So I got the epidural. I believe the anesthesiologist, I never know to call them anesthesiologist or anesthetist. I'm not sure. He came in it was about like 10 minutes after I asked, so that was awesome. He came in, and I was ready for him to be there. I want to say it was between 9:15, 9:30, I'm not really sure, and in the morning. And he placed the epidural. That was like a breeze. I did not feel the epidural. I don't remember it being hardly uncomfortable. I was just so excited that he was there and excited to get it. In fact, I was like joking around with him through the contractions. And not trying to be arrogant, but yeah, he told me, he was like, yeah, you're my favorite kind of patient. He was like, I've been spit on and screamed at and cussed at, and it's always nice to have someone who's really excited to have me there, but they show their excitement in a kind way and not like, give me the drugs, right now. So I felt good about that because I was in a whole lot of pain. So I was happy that he seemed to think that I was still being nice, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense. Anyway, so I got the epidural. It's snowing outside. I live in a state where snow is not that common right now. So I'm kind of distracted by that. Got the epidural and it was heaven. It was bliss. It was wonderful. One thing that was different from the first time I got an epidural was I could still feel my legs. I could still move my legs. They felt different. They felt a little bit heavy. But the first time I got an epidural, I couldn't feel anything. So I don't know what the difference was between them. I've heard of walking epidurals, but I wasn't informed that that would be what I was getting. So I'm going to cut this off here. It's at 10 minutes right now. And I'll continue with how things changed after the epidural. All right. Thanks for watching.